Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. That's a 2017. It's a Chevrolet. It's a Tahoe. It's got the big 5.3. And I don't remember what the problem was. I told the lady that she needs to have the throttle body cleaned and the computer updated. Gotta have the big computer update, the big Windows update. She was having some intermittent check engine light issues, if I remember correctly. Engine light's not on now. Wasn't on when we brought it in, when she was in for an oil change a bit ago. However, I did pull the codes out of it, see that there was a service bulletin on it, so always leverage the power of your service bulletins if you can. And if I remember correctly, the service bulletin kind of, or did, coincide with what she was saying. A light coming on, a certain code, something to do with the throttle body. We'll pull the codes out of it, see if I can find that bulletin number again, and see if it makes sense. And if it does, then we'll do a throttle body cleaning on it. We'll do the PCM update that, you know, supposedly corrects this issue, and then we'll move on with our life. Use the old Harbor Freight T10, the icon here, DTC display. I don't believe anything was ever cleared out of it. Okay, so we have engine hood switch performance, but this one where I think we're going for here, the 2101 throttle actuator position performance. 2101 passed and failed. Let me look that up and see if I can find the bulletin that pertained to that code. Few bulletins pertaining to this one we're going to be looking at is this one here, the 18 NA 037. It's the most recent one. It states here, conditions, some customers may comment that the malfunction indicator light is illuminating. We may see a 2101 set, and possibly the vehicle battery is in a reduced state of charge. GM says the cause for this is they've introduced a new feature called the driver door open prime, which improves engine cold start drivability. So if you're not familiar with that, when you walk up to your vehicle and you open your door on these Chevys, the fuel pump automatically kicks on. That's why if you're ever doing some work under the hood and you got injector rails and stuff unhooked, make sure you're unhooking the battery, because you may not even think about it. You walk by and open the door and all of a sudden, you know, everything's spraying gas everywhere. Don't ask me how I know. A software anomaly in the ECM initializes electronic throttle control diagnostics when the DDOP, or your driver door open prime, occurs and falsely sets a 2101. If you encounter a vehicle with the above condition, reprogram the ECM with latest available software. Tells you how to do that, yada yada yada. This vehicle does fall within the VIN breakout, so we're going to go ahead and take care of that for her, because it is a VIN R and it was made right here in America, right down in Arlington, and that's the Tahoes that fall in that category. And I believe there was about 3 other bulletins, service bulletins, or PIPs, preliminary bulletins, internal bulletins, if you will, pertaining to this code, all of which had to do with either, you know, cleaning the throttle body, doing an idle relearn, updating the PCM, and then almost all of them, you know, come back to the driver door open prime circuit with a low battery setting this 2101. So ultimately making sure it has a good battery in it. Which this one does sound weak when you start it cold. I mean, it sounds to me, if you just clean the throttle body, did a relearn on it, and, you know, had a good battery, you're probably okay. This problem didn't show up for this lady until in the cooler months here. You can go through the very first bulletin that came out on these. You can go through and actually look at the freeze frame data to see when was this setting. Was this setting on the door open prime, or was this problem occurring after the vehicle's already warm, they're driving down the road? So that's some info you can gather. However, it's been extremely intermittent for her, and I think what we'll do in this case is we'll just clean the throttle body, update the PCM, I'll test the battery, and then we'll go from there. If a problem occurs after this, then we'll chase it down, but it's intermittent at this point. And I have not even checked to see if it needs a software update yet. However, we will. Get this little guy right out of the way. We will do that. Let me shut the key off before we go sticking our finger in there. Okay, Mr. Hankey, one bit of advice I would give you, if you do not have the means to do an idle relearn, do not just go out and clean your throttle body. Some of these can take 6 to 8 weeks to come back down. We're just going to be using some seafoam and a big old honking Q-tip. And some folks would definitely advise against pushing the throttle plate open. Use your best judgment, whatever you feel comfortable with. Some people get real weird about stuff. Just don't push it open with a hammer, that's all I can tell you. Don't be an idiot. And honestly, if these things were this freaking fragile, they wouldn't make it. Okay? So just, if you don't feel comfortable cleaning it, just buy a new one. That's what I would tell you. So seafoam works really well, in my opinion. This thing's pretty coked up. You can gather some data as well prior to doing this, but I didn't because I'm not that curious about it. It's not uncommon to have throttle related problems, throttle performance, throttle blade performance issues with a dirty throttle body. If you feel inclined to do so, you can also take the throttle body right off the intake and go about it that way. Whatever rolls your oats, that's what I say. Oh, she's looking nice now, boys. Alright, we'll let that soak for a minute, then we'll go in with the hanky and wipe her out. Some of you likely remember having cable operated throttle bodies, and General Motors was quite common to have them where you go to step on the gas and you push and push and push and then bang, you know, you feel your gas, but it feels like it's catching, so to speak. And that was just throttle body coking. Your throttle body would be so dirty, you know, you set your minimum airflow with your screw, but the throttle plate would go down and actually catch on all the junk, carbon, whatever you want to call it. And it would make the throttle cable seem, you know, real catchy, make it feel like you had a bad throttle cable, but actually it was the butterfly sticking inside your throttle body. And usually just cleaning your throttle body and the butterfly there. The edges of it would resolve the issue and the customer was happy. Your idle air control valve was happy. But that's all old news. We don't see much throttle cable stuff. Most everything's electronic throttle bodies nowadays. All right, there she is. Nice and clean. You can clean off the butterfly if you want. It doesn't make a bit of difference. You know, it's just the top and bottom edge where the throttle plate rests against. As far as cleaning off the face of the throttle plate, it doesn't really matter. Unless you're taking it to the car show and you take your air intake tube off, then you may be looking at a point or two reduction there. I'll slip this little guy back on. I removed it all the way for clarity of our video. You don't have to remove it all the way if you don't want. Give the people the better view, I say. Make sure it still runs. Contact. does start, it does run. That's good. I'm gonna fire up some GM software. That usually takes 2 or 3 days for that to go through some updates. So I'll get the computer fired up, and then we'll see if we need a service update for this, or software update rather. I know this isn't the ideal way to show this, but we can see it does have some, like, let's see, that software is good, that one's good. This one has an update to resolve this P228 and D. And then, so that portion of it is updated. And then our portion here says unrecognized calibration number, new software with diagnostic enhancements for the 2101. And then it replaces that part number. So it does have just a couple updates here we'll take care of. For some reason, TechLine Connect, which is the GM programming software here, is running at a snail's pace today. So I'm gonna let this just sit and go through its thing, make sure you have a battery maintainer on it. And then when this gets done, well, hopefully it's not a brick. I've got the blue line creeping across the screen there. Free tip for you, make sure you're looking in service data prior to programming a module. They always have specific instructions. We should have looked at this before we started, but I didn't. And sometimes this can haunt you. So on a General Motors, if you're looking on General Motors, you're looking in service data, go to, like, well, if you're on Mitchell, go to your search function and type in control module reference. This is where GM puts all of their modules and how to replace it and program it and all that stuff. And we're working on the K20, the engine control module. And then I just go to engine control module programming and setup. And then it will have information on replacing the control module, you know, how to remove and replace it, and then reprogramming it. So, because sometimes there are specific instructions, things you have to do after you program it or replace it, whether it's, oh gosh, I don't know, doing, what do you do on GMs? You do like crank relearns and, you know, throttle relearns, and resetting the oil life, and, you know, there's oftentimes more instructions than that. But just for an example, make sure you check this service data prior to doing this. However, oftentimes service data won't be up to snuff with whatever GM's newest thing is. Like a lot of times that'll refer to, you know, the GM SPS2, where now it's, you know, TechLine Connect, and you know, it does different things because they're continually updating this, you know, making it laggier and slower and more unstable. It says we're successful. According to service data, we need to clear the tools and then run the setup function. We cleared them, but we didn't clear them all. That's what it tells me. So we're gonna proceed with the same VIN number here. And then we're gonna go back into our K20 controller, but instead of programming, we're gonna select setup and then go through this process. And it appears it's just engine oil life reprogramming and then the crank variation relearn, which we talked about, and that's it. It says our reset was successful. I'm not so sure we're going to be able to do the crank relearn. It wants me to go through the process, but this thing's not even remotely warmed up. And generally speaking, they have to be warmed up to do park and brake, hold brake, off to on, start and idle. I gotta believe it's gonna flip us the bird because it's not warmed up. Yeah, waiting for minimum coolant temp of 158. I was gonna say, this thing's stone cold. Oh, we're getting close. Oh, accelerate to wide open throttle. Release the throttle when fuel cut occurs. Here we go. That was it. Learn process successful. Hit OK. We'll close this. And let's see. Everybody's happy. All right, there we go. We're done here. Sometimes this is the route you have to take, folks. The you know, verify what you can. Like I say, this was an intermittent issue for this lady, and it sounds like it fits the criteria here to a certain degree of the service bulletin. It's a known issue with GM, as you even saw in the software update. So go ahead and do this, you know, sell this portion of it to your customer. Tell them, yeah, we'd like to do the throttle body cleaning, make sure your software is up to date, you know, known issue. We're going to do the idle relearn, obviously, now, even though it seems to be pretty normal. and then we're going to send her on her way. There's no sense in checking circuits and all this stuff. And if this resolves her issue, great. We're also going to test her battery. Like I say, this vehicle sat overnight out here when I went to start it this morning. It's not even really that cold. It's like 45 degrees out when I started it. It did sound like it cranked a little slow. So we're going to check the battery and then, you know, just advise her from there. I see it's an interstate battery, so more than likely it's junk. That company is terrible. They used to be absolutely phenomenal. We actually used to be an interstate battery dealer, if you will. It's what we sold because they were good. They took care of us. Their batteries were great. They didn't haunt you. And then something changed. I don't know what it was. You know, the color of their batteries changed. It was about that point they went to that kind of brighter green. And then their quality went right in the tank. They wouldn't warranty stuff. It was a freaking disaster. So we just quit selling them because they were embarrassing. Maybe they've changed because that was many years ago. But, you know, once bitten, twice shy, as they say. That's it. Don't you be shy in that comment section. Questions, comments, put them down there. The Insta, the Facebook. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.